Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today, we're going to talk about Bitcoin and the fact that we are not out of the woods yet. If you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. Let's go ahead and jump in. The last 7 to 8 days have been very exciting, to say the least. If you look at the last 2 weekly candles, we put in about 11.5%, and so far this week about 12.5%. This has led to a lot of renewed interest in the crypto space by a lot of fringe investors. Of course, the more hardcore investors have never left. Now, when we look at this, we also have to be somewhat realistic and not get too carried away. Now, I would argue that in the grand scheme of the cycle, which again I don't think has to end in 2021, that we will go to higher levels than 64K. Okay, I also think there's a good chance, there's a decent chance the momentum will take us to the 20 week. That is where the real battle will begin. Okay, that is the battle. Where we are now is not quite the battle. This is like, we're warming up for the battle, but we are not at the battle yet. The 20-week SMA is the main battle, and that's not up until 44.5K. So right now, we're just, we're having one of these side battles with some of these other milestones that we've hit in the past. Now, why is there reason to be cautious? First of all, you should always be cautious. But when you get a bounce like this, a lot of people assume that it's just going to go straight back up, right? And we're going to act like the summer lull never happened or whatever, and the 300K price predictions will come back for September, etc. But why is there reason to always be cautious? Well, again, if you go back and look at literally every single bounce off the 50-week after a major market move, okay, we didn't even get one here, so we didn't even get one there. We had one here. We went above the 20-week, okay? Let's zoom in. We went above the 20-week. We did not hold it as support. So what I keep saying, I cannot stress enough how important it is for Bitcoin to get above the 20-week, and then not only that, hold it as support, okay? I can't stress that enough, because I think that, if either we don't get above it, or we get above it and then just come back down a few weeks later, then we could be moving along in the sandbox for weeks or months to come, which is not a bad thing. In fact, I think many people would actually like that opportunity. So, as I said before, I think it's a win-win situation. We either go up now and everyone's portfolios go up, or we go up to the 20-week or whatever and we get rejected, and then we have a little bit more time to prepare for that. So why are we talking about this as such a big test? Like, why is it not just, okay, it just naturally will have to go up now? Well, again, if you look at prior moves, after breaking the 20-week and coming down to the 50-week, there hasn't been one yet in Bitcoin's entire history that was able to immediately put in new all-time highs without further downside first. Okay, so look at this one here. This one, no new all-time highs, even though we got a nice bounce off the 50-week above the 20-week after a market move to the downside. Again, you go to 2018. We broke the 20-week. We bounced off the 50-week, held resistance at the 20-week, and we had further downside before, and we actually even had more downside later on before actually going back up, okay? And then you go over here and we look at it and we say, well, we know that not every cycle is going to be the same. It's entirely possible that Bitcoin holds support on the 50-week and does not break below it for the duration of the rest of the cycle. We know that's a possibility, and we have to consider that possibility. In line with lengthening cycle theory, it makes sense that we should not. I'm not expecting 3 years before putting in new all-time highs. I'm not expecting 3 years before doing that. So with that said, though, we have to be somewhat practical and realistic here and say, well, hold on a second, guys. We've seen these moves before off the 50-week, these somewhat impulsive moves that took us up around 50% or so. That one was 50%. This one over here was around 45% or so. And if we go to the current one, if we go to the bottom of the wick, we're already up about 40%. So if we were to go up 50% or so, let's say 52%, that would take us to the 20-week SMA. So we've seen these moves before. they've been fairly impulsive before. Look at this one over here. It was like 5 weeks in a row where it was just nothing but green. Okay, this one over here was several weeks in a row. It was nothing but green. The one in 2019 was a red candle here, but other than that, it was mostly green for several weeks straight. So what I want people to do is to always be with Bitcoin. I think the best thing to do is just to be cautiously optimistic, right? You're optimistic on where Bitcoin is headed long term, but you're cautious because you also realize the short-term downside risk. And I don't think we're out of the woods until we're actually above the 20-week. We come back down, hold it as support for maybe a month or two, and then, and only then, can we say, all right, we think we're now out of the woods. Let's push for new all-time highs. So we still have a long way to go, and I think we just need to be patient and continue recognizing that these moves are not unprecedented in any way. And that we will come out the other side at some point, whether that's in a couple weeks or a couple months or 6 months, somewhat irrelevant. But if you guys like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Give the video a thumbs up. We do have the sale on the premium list, so make sure you guys check that out. If you want to lock in the low rate, you can find out how I'm navigating the markets. Thank you guys for tuning in. Definitely subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.